What's going on? This is Second to None. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm joined by the infamous Kentucky Wildcats fan, Matt Short. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing good. How about you, Michael?
I'm doing good, man. It's always excited to do these one-on-ones here at Second to None. And Kentucky, you're up. You're on the board right now. It's so much going on for Kentucky Wildcats right now in football. The expectations is so high. Everybody's ready to go. Matt, what's going on with Kentucky football so far this year, as they get ready?
Well, Kentucky has been having Mark Stoops. He's been out on the recruiting trail. He's really trying to rebuild the offensive line. I mean, Kentucky got a brand new quarterback, Devin Leary. I mean, the ceiling has not hit the high point for Mark Stoops in his coaching career. I still think he's got a lot to accomplish as Kentucky moves forward in this coming season.
So with the new quarterback Lurie coming in, I have to ask you, what's the expectations? Like what defines success for him this year?
Well, being the fact that he come from NC State, he's a lot. He's not had a lot of bragging. Let's just say that he's got a lot to prove. And having a good offensive line, it will get him in the right direction. I mean, I feel like he's gonna have a good season for Kentucky. He don't throw the long ball like Levis did. He throws more of a shorter passes. He can throw up and down the field a little bit, but not like Levis. But I think his new offensive line is going to really help protect him. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when this season starts.
It's one thing about the offensive line for UK last year. It's no secret. Will Levis was sacked like 49 times last year. There's no way anyone can be successful. Will was hurt most of the year. I think there's a lot of people who's actually playing their natural position this year for Kentucky. So how big is how big does Kentucky need their offensive line to be able to be successful this year?
I mean, that's the key. That's the key to Kentucky's offense. I mean, that's going to help Devin Leary. It's going to help the running backs. Everybody's going to have to play a role to help block for him. I mean, it's going to take a team effort in order to be successful. And the ceiling is high for, Kentucky. They've, I really do believe that they can have a special season. They've got the wide receivers. They've got a couple of tight ends that are, had proved that they could play in the big moment. They had some big catches for big yards. I mean, but, the running game along with Devin Leary throwing the ball and being accurate, that's what's gonna bring Kentucky to success. And
you guys got your offensive coordinator back. You guys had him a year, 2 years ago. He left and went to the NFL. What do you think in year two for him is going to mean for the offense overall? You guys got the experienced Ray Davis in, who transferred in from Vandy. You guys got the other running backs that was there. You guys got the superb wide receiver room. Like, how is Cohen going to be able to put all that together. And at this point in time, kids want to be, can you make me happy? What does he do for the offense? Just totally.
He brings so much experience. I mean, Kentucky, when he was there for his first year, they averaged 37 points a game. I mean, versus last year, I mean, what they started off pretty good the first 4 or 5 games. They was, but they only ended up averaging about 25 points a game last year. And I expect them to average anywhere from 30 to 40 points. I really do believe, the
That's a big
offense.
that's a big statement, Matt. That is. Do you think we have the firepower to do that? Do you think we got some good receivers. The question is, can Ray Davis, can he stay healthy?
Yeah, that's the question.
Can the running backs keep the defense honest?
Well, the 2 wide receivers that come to mind, I'll get to the running back, but I was going to say Danon Key and Barry Brown. I mean, they've proven that they can make the big catch. I mean, if you go back to the Florida game, I mean, I know that's, Levis was playing in that game, but back to what I was saying, those two wide receivers can actually make big plays, and we didn't see half of what we should have seen last year. And I really do believe this is going to be they're going to have some big games. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the two didn't have over 1,000 yards receiving.
Well, I mean, if somebody has over 1,000 yards, then that's a big year for Leary. We have one of the individuals, Dustin, who's actually watching the show. I think one of his biggest concerns it appears he looks like he's a Tennessee fan. Actually, he's one of our guys for second to none. And I think we touched on it, but I think that's one thing, like we just said. One thing for the Wildcats this year is how effective are they going to, how effective is the offensive line going to be? So I think that's the key to the offense right there. So what you got? So we're going to move to the defensive side of the ball. Who do you look for this year for defense to have not a breakout year, but maybe another huge year?
I'd have to say there's going to be several players that come to mind. J.J. Weaver.
Okay.
J.J. Weaver, I mean, he's played, this will be his senior year. I mean, he knows what it's like to win 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this Kentucky team is not, I don't believe they're going to take a step back. And then as far as, there's other defensive players that are going to step up. I mean, he's just the one that sticks in my mind, J.J. Weaver. They've got other players that are going to have big ears. I mean, I just feel like, the interceptions, they can step in, when it comes to Kentucky's defense, they only allowed 4.7 yards rushing last year. And I feel like they'll continue to grow in that.
One of the things that, as that I hear Kentucky people talking about a lot is their secondary. Can their secondary stop the big plays down the field? I mean, they got to play Tennessee. They know Milton from Tennessee can throw the ball 3,000 miles with a flick of a wrist. So it's just those type of games. Will our secondary be able to hold up and stop the deep ball and keep everything in front of them? I think that's the key.
Well, our, Mark Stoops being the defensive coach that he is, what he specializes in. And I believe that they've come a long way, and their defense wasn't really all that bad last year. If you look at their numbers, it was just their offense. I mean, that's what I go back to, their offense. But of course, the defense, like I said, their offense didn't give them a chance to make their defense in some of your bigger games, like the Tennessee game. We got thrashed in that game. And then when you look later down like against Ole Miss, Kentucky's defense played good in that game. And I look at a couple of other games, like Vanderbilt and South Carolina, they played good in that game. Kentucky had their chances to win. They just didn't like it goes back to the offensive line. It kind of the offensive line helps out the defense.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Is you as a fan, they always tell players, hey, we got to just get ready for every ball game. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Respect every team. But is there one team, particularly this year, that you can't wait to play?
Well, I mean, if I could tell you, that's not a hard one. It's not that they're the best team. It's just it's sort of out for blood, and of course you want to beat everybody. But I'd have to say Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's. They're rebuilding. It was like their Super Bowl to beat Kentucky in football, I believe. Even though the numbers, if you look at it, Kentucky has like a 6-game. They're ahead of them in the series,
Yeah.
and it's always been a pretty close, tight knit
Yeah.
series.
I can never understand that. I've always wondered why Vandy, and also even Missouri also. I never really understand why these guys actually really play Kentucky that well. You won't find very many Vandy fans, to be honest with you, or they're like really behind closed doors. But the ones that you do hear from, they really believe that their Commodores are definitely on the rise. So that someone really someone said Kentucky will be 7-5 this year. Matter of fact, since George, thanks for the comment. As a matter of fact, what's an acceptable year this year? You guys have a very hard schedule this year. Playing Alabama, got to play Georgia, of course, Florida, the Tennessee. Like what do you think as a fan base it will be acceptable? Do they really got to go 10-2 to be, to just go all out, or can it be 7-5? Would the fans be okay with that?
Well, not in my book. I could see no worse than 9-3 or no worse than 8-4.
Okay.
You got, of course, your 3 toughest games: Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. Of course, we play Alabama later down towards the end of the season. And that would be a great victory. That's, we ended the 75-year losing streak with Tim Couch, in 97, wasn't it? And Craig East and all that bunch that played. So of course it's at home. Of course we got to go to Georgia. That would be a great victory.
It would be.
We played Georgia pretty tough, over the last, say, 6 to 8 games. Kentucky's been in a pretty close game with Georgia. And then, of course, Tennessee, I'd have to say Mark Stoops, he's got 2 victories over Tennessee, and his this is his 11th season at Kentucky. So we'll have to see. I think 9-3, no worse. But, Kentucky's got to take it each game at a time. They open up against Ball State, and that's, they've got a good quarterback returning. He likes to throw the ball over the field. That'll be a good chance to see how Kentucky's secondary will be.
Okay. Spoken like a real Tennessee fan, Dustin keeps commenting, and Dustin says 6-6 is acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't think UK fans would call that acceptable. Yes, we keep the bow. Yes, UK would keep the bow streak alive, but that ain't, that's not acceptable, because that means they lose some games that they should have won, that they were supposed to win.
Yeah. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, Kentucky's offense will not be like it was last year. The 24 points a game, I'm expecting well above, at least over 30 points a game, at least.
Chris said, but don't forget your wide receiver can run 100 miles an hour and can jump from Lexington to Baton Rouge in one leap.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you remember about the Dustin says bring back the beer barrel back? What does that mean to you as a Kentucky fan?
Well, I guess that they're going to start selling beer in Kroger Stadium again. They're going to start selling alcohol.
Was it bring the beer barrel. Wasn't that like a challenge between you guys and Tennessee, the beer barrel?
Yeah,
If I'm correct.
if mine serves me right, that's
Okay.
somehow I haven't forgot about that. But yeah, I
Will
guess.
Hey, will Kentucky find a way to beat Tennessee this year?
Well, remember 2 years ago, what was the score? 45-42. I mean, Kentucky had their chance right there at the end. Levis they ended up giving him for a penalty, and it backed him up 20 more. What was it? 10 extra yards. They were right in the red zone, and a questionable call. Of course, wasn't the right call, but you can't take that back. But Kentucky just did not play good in the secondary. The quarterback was 17 out of 19 for 315 yards, and they scored 45 points. I mean, Kentucky had 30 more plays than Tennessee in that game.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're definitely going to see. Also, Vince Merrill, one of the best recruiters out there, especially one of the best in the SECs. I have to ask the question: how much will the big dog utilize his tight ends this year? Are they going to get involved, or I feel like Kentucky got some good quality tight ends. Maybe a lot of fans maybe feel like they're not utilized enough. Will this be the year of the tight ends at Kentucky get involved to be a special part of the offense to make it to raise the elevation of their game?
Isaiah Cummings, I mean, his name's being mentioned quite a bit. I've followed him since he's been at Kentucky. He's got a chance to have a very special year. I mean, like I said, they don't seem like they use him a lot, but I feel like he's going to be one of the better tight ends that Kentucky's had in years.
That's some big shoes to fill from Conrad that they had a couple of years ago. So that's definitely going to be a very big year. We got to play Florida this year again. Florida hasn't been its best over the past years. A lot of people are picking Florida to be towards the bottom, the same way they do Auburn on the other side in the West for the last year. Do we get that win against Florida?
I believe so. I mean, Florida's going to be much improved, but their running game's going to be a lot better. Of course, it's hard to say. I mean, but I know Kentucky's not going to take anybody lightly. Like I say, they're out to play their best game. They've got something to prove, and like I said, you got to take one game at a time. And the defense and the offensive line, that's two of the big keys for me for Kentucky. And like I said, their offensive line is going to be better. Like I said, I know some of your viewers don't believe that, but believe me, Kentucky's offensive line is going to be a lot better.
Well, I can tell you this about UK. As you just said, a lot of viewers may not believe you about UK, but I think a lot of people would say that UK has definitely come a long way. Regardless if a team beats UK really bad or barely makes it by them, it's one thing about UK when they play a team, they're definitely going to show up and ready to play. It might not go in the favor of the way UK wants it to go, but I really feel like UK is definitely going to come out and actually, give it their best. And as football fans, that's all that we ask of our team as well, is just for that. One thing about it, UK always plays Florida very well. Florida can go to I got a feeling Tennessee doesn't like Florida either, the same way they don't like what's the name. So, hey, Kentucky's getting ready for a year, man. We definitely hope that they have a more successful year than they had last year. The Wildcats got to come out. They got to be more determined. Staying healthy is one of the key things for Kentucky. I mean, football is a physical thing, and you play in the SEC, the best conference in college football. If Kentucky can stay healthy, I really believe that that they can make some noise this year. Are they going to win the East? That's a toss up or whatever. But can they be Kentucky good if they stay healthy? And I think at the end of the day, as a UK fan, That's the only thing that we want. And I'm pretty sure for every team out there, that's the only team, that's something that they want for their team is staying healthy. The O-line has to keep Lurie healthy. He can't be on his back. If he's on his back, he can't make a play. That's just common sense. So they definitely got to step up and actually do that. Remember, Ray Davis has 2 rebuilt knees. Will he hold up health-wise? Exactly. That's the same thing, that Matt and I was discussing. Can the guys hold up and can they stay healthy? The thing of it is we just got to learn to spread out, to spread out the ground and pound to the players so they can last all year. I think that's the key. Anything last you want to say about UK before we get off here, Matt?
I just want to tell the fans, all the fans that follow all their SEC schools besides Kentucky that everybody wants to win, but I don't think anybody wants to win more than Kentucky. I mean, that's just me. I mean, Kentucky years ago being 6-6 would have been acceptable, but in this time and era, Kentucky is they're building something special. Like I said, last year was an off year. I mean, most people would have taken that. Most Kentucky teams would have taken that kind of record. But Mark Stoops is, like I said, I don't believe he's hit the top of the ceiling for his coaching career at Kentucky. I mean, this is he's got Lime Combs back.
Yeah.
And like I said, Ray Davis is not just the only running back they've got. They've got some other, other freshmen that are going to step in. Like I said, I believe this is going to be a special year for Kentucky. Like I said, this is possibly a 9-3 ball club. They could win 10 games. I mean, like I said, but no more than, I wouldn't say 8-4 would be the lowest, as far as being accepting ball club. I mean, that means, win the games that you're supposed to win. You take care of your non-conference schedule, and then you play, like, what do we open up with, Vandy in the SEC?
I think so, yeah.
And
I plan on going to that ball game.
Yeah, I mean, you go to Vanderbilt and you take care of business. I mean, like I said, we owe them a butt whooping.
We owe them. Let me ask you a question, Matt, before I get off here, because I asked a question on Facebook maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it was to really all the fan bases in the SEC. Is Big Blue Nation the best fan base out there?
Absolutely.
In college?
Absolutely.
Especially in the SEC. Oh, are we more? Is the BBN? Are they more passionate than even Tennessee?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We travel. We can fill up a stadium in a heartbeat. It don't matter if it's football or basketball.
Go.
I mean,
I got
Kentucky
one more
travels everywhere. I guarantee you that Tennessee won't travel nearly. They don't. I mean, they bring their share of fans, but nothing compared to what Kentucky does.
Hey, what's that saying? Big Blue gets in.
Yeah,
that's it. Big Blue gets in.
Yeah, they find a way. They travel it. They if Kentucky's say if you're shipped out west,
yeah,
playing the big dance. I'm just using that for example. They travel.
We will fill it up.
You'll see 10,000 people at least.
I just got to throw shade on Tennessee one time. I apologize. Don't want to be biased. You ain't got to worry about Tennessee's fans going to a big game, especially in basketball, because they'll never make it. But anyway, hey, just want to put that out there. Tennessee fans ain't got to worry about that. I got to stay biased, though. Unbiased. That's what I do, because I'm on second and none, and I have to hold this. But I'm sorry. I'm looking over at the comments from Dustin, and Dustin is just letting it go, and I cannot help it. You didn't have 4K total in the MCM in December. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I think in December, yeah. But yeah, so hey, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time out to join me here on Second to None on my one-on-one with Kentucky. You guys can follow us on Second to None. We're here on Facebook. Look us up on our group. We got a fan page. We're actually being brought to you by Dogs, College Media Network. And also, if you are a coffee drinker, You know, go get your drink on. I just got this right here to play right here.
What's the difference between these two identical cups of coffee? Everything. Everything. Boring basic coffee is leaving you dead inside. Thank the Dark Lord, there's Bones Coffee. Small batch, full-bodied coffee infused with the most mind-melting flavors in the world. Or underworld.
Oh, I've had flavored coffee
Oh,
before.
I've had flavored coffee before. You haven't had Welcome to the highly caffeinated, slightly wicked, and immortally delicious world of Bones.
So, hey, got a promo code if you're a big coffee drinker. Promo code at checkout is Dogs Bones. Use that for 10% off, and just get you some good coffee. Absolutely, you can do that, and you'll be good. So once again, Matt, Bones this is it right here. Bones Coffee is fat. Yeah, there you go, right there. Coming from a Vandy fan, that's it. So he apparently really loves the coffee. So yeah, but hey, Matt, thank you once again. I appreciate it. Once again, hey, if you get a chance to watch this video, come follow us on our Facebook group. It's called, actually the name of the group is SEC Second to None, because that's the name of who we are, and we understand that the SEC is truly second to none. Thanks, Matt. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Go Cats.
I appreciate it.